to Elliott. Oh, the bicycle!
The shot, Bedoya with a goal, 1-0 Union.
Hey everyone, welcome to Union Insider presented by Bimbo, Bakeries USA. I'm Marisa and I'm joined by Sebastian Letou and Sheanon Williams. This past week has been a busy one for the Union, having played 2 matches in 5 days. Both those matches were against teams in the bottom half of the Eastern Conference. Both matches were ones that the Union were expected to win. Fellas, however, the boys in blue only walked away with 3 points out of a possible 6. They dropped their midweek match to Toronto 3-1, but then redeemed themselves Sunday night against the New York Red Bulls at home, final score 4-1. What did the Union bring in this Red Bulls match that was lacking against Toronto?
A little bit more of offense for me, but I feel like the game didn't start the way we wanted. Being down 1-0, we were like, oh boy, all over again after having a bad loss in Toronto. We are like, this might be the week of the Union, but I think the game kind of came back into their hands. They created some opportunities, and then the red card, I think, really changed the game from the Red Bulls to play at 10 against 11, and the Union really then put their rhythm into this game and offensively created a lot of chances. And we got 4 goals, so I think for the confidence of the team, it's good. It's great to put kind of the Red Bulls almost out of the playoff, and for the Union keep looking up to make sure that they get a home advantage for the playoff at the end of the season.
And Sheanon, for you were on radio calls for both of them. What stood out?
I think the lack of energy in Toronto definitely flipped around, and it helps when you're at home and getting that home-cooked meal and sleeping in your own bed. So I thought that they came out with a lot more energy. I know that the first 10 minutes weren't what we wanted in that Red Bull game, but I thought after that they really turned it on from there. They created, like Seba said, a ton of chances and were able to put 4 in the back of the net. So I think that offensive fluidity came back against the Red Bull and was lacking against Toronto.
It is always a fiery affair when the Philadelphia Union and the New York Red Bulls meet. These two sides have now met 3 times this year and average 5 yellow cards per match. The fireworks were once again on display Sunday night in Chester, not only in the physicality, but also in the finishing. Here's a look back at the Union's victory over the Red Bulls.
Okay, guys, look, Red Bull at home, okay? These guys always bring the best out of this group, okay? We talked all week now. It's about matching their intensity from the start of the game. They will have fight, they will run. If we match that, our soccer can take over, okay? We know Wednesday night wasn't us, all right? Let's get back to being us. 6 games at home out of our last 9. We know what we can do on this field. When we play at our max, there's not a team in this league that can stay with you guys, all right? Let's get after these guys from minute 1. Everybody's ready to do whatever it takes to get points tonight.
Let's go, boys, right from the get-go. We know what this game is all about against them, right? It's a dogfight. We have to match our intensity from the first minute, and whatever it takes tonight. This is our home. Let's return to making this a fortress. We must win tonight. Come on, boys, let's do it together. Come on. Hey, we keep a shutout too, boys, all right? Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win!
Plays this out wide. Reyes getting forward, plays into the 18. Quick shot blocked away, and the rebound is put home. It's the Red Bulls who strike first. Omir Fernandez with the opening goal. Able to swing this ball in. Punched out initially by Coronel Glesnes with the rebound. Puts it home, and the Union have leveled the match. The Norwegian defender looking for a bounce-back performance from Wednesday, and a big moment for him. Couldn't control the ball. This is off a Red Bull arm, and we have a second yellow card out of the pocket, and Sean Nealis has been sent off. In the game decided by a penalty shootout. This ball whipped in and finished. It's a set-piece goal once again. And Damian Lowe has given the Philadelphia Union the 2-1 lead. Harper chasing, Union for Carranza, fires and scores! Carranza firing a bullet past Coronel, and the Union suddenly have taken the game by the throat. Needed to do better with the pass, taken here by the Union. Gazdag going straight for goal. Daniel Gazdag makes it 4. The undefeated streak for Philadelphia against Red Bull, now a dirty dozen. 4-1 is your final tonight in Chester.
What was important about this game is that the Union conceded first, but they didn't concede the match completely. That's what really stood out to me. It was the 11th minute that they gave up the first goal, 13th time this season that they've allowed the first goal, but they were still able to get the win. Sheanon, what was it about the Union's response that allowed them to play themselves back in?
It seemed like once they got scored on, they acted like the game started from there, and they really started to come alive and create some more chances, play a little bit more direct, and they were able to put Red Bull on the back foot, and then they never really conceded that stronghold on the game for the rest of the game. So we'd like to see them do it for 90 minutes, but we'll have to take 80 minutes for this game.
But it's growth for sure, because this is only the 4th time this year that they've won a game in which they've conceded first. So even though these early concessions may be happening, they're not throwing the rest of the game away.
It's tough because you don't want to get in that habit of conceding the first goal and having to play from behind, because when you start to play the better teams like we're going to see coming up with Cincinnati and LAFC, they're not going to give you that way back into the game. So they need to do a better job from the start of the game. But it was good to see that once they were scored on and conceded that first goal, that they were able to impact the game in a positive way from then on.
Someone I thought who had a terrific game, really almost a bounce-back performance, was Damian Lowe. He scored the second goal, and he played a huge role in making that turnover that created the third goal. Seba, what was it about this performance and how the game shaped up that suited Damian Lowe's better performance?
I mean, I think Sheanon said the first time, I think Damian Lowe was kind of a part of the goals they scored. The ball bounced on him back to the forward, and then the goal. So we can say maybe Damian could have done better, but then his reaction defensively was good, being strong, not losing a lot of ball, when he was building up from the back, and then on his opportunity to come on free kicks, and we all know how strong he is and how good he can be to help the team. He scored, to give a great, goal for the team to be above, and now, getting more air for the team to kind of relax and play better. So it was good to have him back, back three. I think, the back three did a good job, even if they give up a goal early, but then I think the communication was good between them, and I really enjoy having, the two center midfielder with Macklin and Bedoya in front of them, because he give a better fighter more in the team to win those balls, win those second balls. And we know against the Red Bulls, like you say, it was a lot of yellow card, very fighting. You see the fans getting into it, and luckily I think the team got a better control with, I think, the back three and the two in front.
We're stepping away for a bit, but first it's time for this week's Union Trivia question presented by United Concordia. Who is the youngest player to appear in a match in Union history? Find out the answer later in the show. We're back with This Week in Union History, presented by Premier Orthopedics. This week in 2010, the Union defeated Chicago Fire FC by a score of 1-0 in Chester for the club's first win over Chicago in their history. The lone goal is one scored by none other than our very own Sebastian Letou. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Marisa Pilla. September in MLS is Kick Childhood Cancer Month, and you've seen the warm-ups on the field, but the message goes beyond the white lines. Following a match last year, Charlotte, a child with cancer, got to meet several players of the Union and made a special connection with defender Kai Wagner. Their connection is one that is built around the love of the game, and it is really an unbreakable bond. Let's take a look now at their story.
Charlotte and her family feels like family almost, Just grateful to have her in my life, enjoy every moment, just makes me smile every day.
We've absolutely become part of the Union family, and it's been inspiring, and I wouldn't trade it for anything at this point. A lot of people want to be there for you when your child has cancer, and they really are. A lot of people are more than they know, but it takes people that are in the same boat as you to be able to really get you through this. And we've been lucky enough to be connected with a lot of those. Being part of the Union family has been right up there in our lives. Absolutely. It's gotten us through some really hard times. Charlotte was diagnosed with high-risk B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia right before her second birthday. And it was devastating, to say the least, having that diagnosis given to you.
When we first learned about Charlotte's diagnosis, it was kind of a random occurrence. She started getting a lot of bruising, couldn't explain why. So she went to the ER. I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, another ER trip, you know, kids, that's common. And then I was just at home doing my thing, not thinking anything was wrong in the world. And then I got the phone call saying I should sit down. And then she told me, and I don't have a family history of cancer, so I had no idea what to expect. I don't even think it fully hit me that night. I think after I got off the phone, she told me they were gonna be transported down to CHOP here in Philly. I think I was sad and shocked, but like, I don't really feel like it hit me until the next day. Started talking to doctors and everything like that, and that's when it was like, wow, this is real.
We were transferred from the hospital to CHOP, and everything moved so quickly. They put the port in. She's fought this from the beginning, and she continues to. Sharon Snyder gave us a call from Kisses for Kyle and asked if Charlotte could be one of the Fearless 43 kids back in 2022, and we were honored to be part of that. When we got to go down on the field at the end of the game, my husband Wes was down on the field with Charlotte when all the players lined up to sign the balls, and Charlotte was just shying away. A couple of the players really tried to interact with her, and Kai was one of them. He came back and he gave Charlotte his jersey from the game, and it was just a really touching moment. Seeing him embrace her when she wasn't feeling so good that day, it really touched a part of me that not much throughout this journey has.
Our relationship with Kai and Jenny from that night, we were walking back to where we parked, and because that moment stood out to me, I told my wife, I said, yeah, maybe you should look her up on the social media, Facebook or whatever, and send her a message and let her know how much it meant to me that Kai initially came back over, and then that her and her mother came and spent a good 5-10 minutes talking to Charlotte, talking to me. I think it was the next day, maybe the day after, Jenny responded. And then ever since then, it's been wonderful. We've gone to their kids' birthday parties. They did a personal birthday party for Charlotte last year. I know my wife and Jenny, they message each other almost every day. Like it started as a half-hearted joke, like, hey, maybe we'll make friends with a professional athlete. And then it truly happened.
We became friends pretty instantaneously with the Wagner family, and their two boys are just hilarious with Charlotte and Ella, the way they run around and play. And every time the kids run to each other and hug and embrace, and that's just so, so special that they get to have that friendship that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And I'm just so grateful for how humble they are and how beautiful of a family they are to ours.
I mean, it's a special moment for me, you know, like we just met each other and then she's calling me Uncle Kai already.
Go, Uncle Kai! There you go.
It opened my heart the whole time. It's just special to see her all the time, how she's doing like every day, how much she grew already and all this stuff. Just really, really happy to have her in my family, to have like her parents in my family, Ella in the family too. My family is grateful for them, and we just love them.
So we're in what they call the final phase. We're in the maintenance phase. Their goal for her to stop treatment is March of 2024, just based on their research, their decades of dealing with this, and based on her progress. They've set that as the goal. Everything the doctors say is she's on schedule, she's on target, she's doing really well.
It's been a journey. We've met so many fantastic people throughout it. That's been our silver lining to this nightmare. Kisses for Kyle, the union, they brought our families together. They did that, and that says a lot. I just really want to thank Kai and Jenny for their kindness. And no matter where Kai goes in his career, he has a fan in our family. We will always be a Kai Wagner fan, no matter where he goes in life. And we will always be a Union fan because the Union brought us together with him. And I wouldn't trade that for anything.
When Union Insider returns, we'll take a look at a player who's been on the rise for the Union and is now being called up by his national team. We'll be right back after this. Time for this week's Chick-fil-A Nugget of the Week. With the win against the New York Red Bulls on Sunday, the Union became the sixth team in MLS history to record 45 points in 6 straight seasons, excluding the shootout era. Hey everyone, welcome back to Union Insider presented by Bimbo, Bakeries USA. I'm Marisa. Let's take a look now at this week's player profile presented by Subaru. When Alejandro Bedoya and Leon Flock got injured before the Leagues Cup, the team needed someone to step up and help run the midfield. The answer came in a somewhat unlikely form of 24-year-old Jesus Bueno. During the Leagues Cup, Bueno started 6 of the team's 7 matches and recorded 2 goals and 3 assists. Fellas, Bueno was recently called into the international duty with the Venezuelan national team, just the second time he's been called into senior team national camp. What was it about his Leagues Cup performance that probably caught the eye of that national team?
I think he was just, everywhere. He brought the goals, he brought the energy, he brought some things that the team was missing, not having Bedoya in the starting lineup, Martinez, sometimes injured with Flack as well, so he really took his chance. And if you talk about somebody who really make an impact into a team, I think he really did, during the Leagues Cup tournament. And now I think for Jim Curtin, which is, I think, a great thing to have as a coach, he has an extra player to put in the mix. You have more, challenge at practice to have the guys, play for their position and make sure, they fight each other, in the right way to play the best team in the weekend. And I think Bueno can really be one of those guys to be sometime in the center midfield when they play at 2 like they did, last weekend against New York Red Bulls, or if they play in a diamond midfield, he can be on the right, he can be on the left. And I really enjoy, all his plays, energy, and he really brings a lot of good stuff into the team that were not maybe what we saw from an Alejandro Bedoya. It's a different type of profile, and I think it's a great thing from Jim Curtin to be able to have for the rest of the season.
Yeah, all the players in the midfield kind of have different things going for them. Jack McGlynn is known for his passing. Jose Martinez is known for his brute force physicality. What is Jesus Bueno becoming known for in this Union midfield?
For me, I think you nailed it with each player in the midfield adding something in one direction or the other. I think when you look at Martinez, he's the defensive guy. McGlynn is more of the passer. I think Jesus Bueno has become more of a two-way midfielder for the Union and somebody that's very different from the other players that they have in midfield. And that's what's been such a revelation, is that he can not only defend but also score goals. And that hasn't been the case for all the Union midfielders. So I think it's a good problem to have, like Seba talked about, in terms of your selection from week to week. We got the red card against Toronto, but we look to have him back in the lineup as soon as possible, I'm sure.
Now let's take a look at some action in MLS around the league presented by Torque. It took until their 14th home match of the season, but FC Cincinnati has finally lost at TQL Stadium. Facundo Torres scored the lone goal of the night, but it was enough to put Orlando City SC past the Supporter Shield leaders at home. It looked like Charlotte FC was going to steal 3 points from Nashville SC after a stoppage time goal from Scott Arfield, until Nashville drew a penalty that was converted by none other than Hani Mukhtar at the death to steal a point right back from Charlotte, as this dramatic match ended in a 1-1 draw. We're stepping away one more time, but first, here's the answer to this week's Union trivia question. Zach Pfeffer is the youngest player to ever appear in a match for the Union at 16 years, 18 months, and 11 days old. Union Insider returns after this. Starting this year, every Union League match is on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Sign up today to make sure you don't miss a minute of the action. You can also check out the live Whip Around show MLS 360, or if you missed out on the live, you can relive every moment with full match replays. And get this, if you're a T-Mobile subscriber, you get this whole year of Season Pass content free of charge. We are wrapping things up on Union Insider presented by Bimbo, Bakeries USA, which means it is time for our All-State players to watch. There is no match this weekend for the Union, so instead of a player for the upcoming match, let's zoom out a bit. There are 8 remaining regular season matches. I want to hear from both of you on who you'll be watching for the remainder of the regular season. Seba, you're up first.
All right, I could have gone with number 9 Carranza, but I'm not going with the obvious one. I think I'm going to go with Jack McGlynn. I think he was very good this season. He won his place in the midfield, fighting with, Leon Flack. I think he has a better end of the season right now. He was very good playing with the two center midfielder and him and Alidoria last game. We all know he can play in the diamond as well. His passing is so accurate, and I think for the end of the season and during the playoff as well, when you're going to have those team coming at Subaru Park trying to maybe to get 1 point, it's going to be very hard to break them down. And I think with his passing and his vision, he can really help the forward to find those good balls, play them, and play quick. So hopefully he can get some playing times, but I think we're going to need him to get more wins at home to secure a home advantage playoff at the end of the season.
All right, so Jack McGlynn for Seba, Sheanon for you.
I'm going to stay in the midfield. I'm going to go with Danny Gazdag. I think he's somebody that's been really influential this season, not only with the goals, albeit 9 from the penalty spot. He's also added the assists as well, and like Seba talked about, there's going to be some tough games coming up, and we're going to need somebody that's really going to impact things on the offensive side, and I think that's going to be Gazdag.
So the midfield is something to watch for the Union going forward. That's going to do it for us. The Union are off this weekend due to international duty, as is the rest of MLS. We'll be back here next week to discuss the Union's upcoming match against league-leading FC Cincinnati on September 16th. For Seba, Sheanon, and our entire crew, I'm Marisa Pilla. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.